Hello and a very warm welcome, Namaskar, to yet another special episode on a session in India Global Education and Skill Summit hosted by the Government of Telangana, Collegiate Education and Technical Education Department, organized by Indie Global Media Network. Engaging powerful minds and empowering transformation is the idea behind this 3 day mega virtual summit. Over 100 education leaders from across the country and globe have joined us, and more than 1,500 delegates who are basically from the education, skill, and technology space and also from the governance side. Just to give you an idea of our inaugural session, we had the participation from Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, Secretary, joined us, and also Chairman for All India Council for Technical Education, Sri Anil Sahasrabudhe, joined us, and our Program Chair, Naveen Mittal, Commissioner for Collegiate and Technical Education, Government of Telangana, were part of it. At the same time, over 20 state governments representatives have joined, including Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Chandigarh, and several other states, and National Institute of Technology, IIT, and several other degree and technical institutions have joined us. And now we are in the day three, joined by a special guest, and she dons several hats. Just to begin with, she is an artist, a well-known legendary actor, have been a leading actor in several films in several languages, including Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Hindi, and several other languages. Besides being a content actor, she's also a dancer. Besides that, she's known as an animal welfare activist. She is a co founder of Blue Cross, which does a lot of welfare work for animals. Besides that, she's also the director and educator for Annapurna College of Films and Media in Hyderabad, Telangana. Please join me in welcoming Srimati Amala Akkineni. She's also an environmentalist by heart. So join me in welcoming Amala Akkineni. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I really appreciate this effort of Indie Global Network, Media Network, and I'm delighted to be here at this summit.
It's always been a pleasure. We have seen your work on
And I'm
ground.
delighted to be here at this summit.
We have always been a pleasure. We have seen your we have seen your work on ground, ma'am. You are working as an actor, as an activist, and as an environmentalist. You have always been on the forefront. You balance so many things, but today you are leading and driving the activities in Annapurna College of Films and Media as a director, and lot of activities have taken. So we would like to have your special address in this context of 3 day mega virtual summit, and what is the work that is happening in Annapurna as a center of excellence. Over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Sudhir. Thank you for this opportunity. Firstly, I must congratulate all the speakers. I've been so enjoying listening to everybody and learning so much from all the sessions and all the sharing of the experts. I think this summit is a beautiful occasion to kind of share ideas, thoughts, and innovations in the field. It is not difficult. It is not easy to run an educational institution, full of challenges, I must say. But summits like this definitely help us understand the way forward and give us pointers and some hope that things will improve and things will get clearer as we go along. Having said that, Annapurna College of Film and Media was started 10 years ago by my father-in-law and by my family. My father-in-law, being a legendary actor, had also set up Annapurna Studios as a media hub for the film and media industry to work and create good films and content. And towards the later part of his life, he believed that it's not just enough to create a place of work. We must prepare the younger generations to harness this industry and to be able to take this industry to the next level. And it was a very noble thought. I think everybody in the family was deeply inspired and came together to make this happen. We have completed 10 years and it has been a marvelous journey. The kind of support and the kind of participation we've got from the industry and from the education sector has been tremendous. And let me take you through a few thoughts that I have that may connect educators to this field of creative film and media. So, decades of research has linked creativity with this intrinsic motivation to learn, right? And if you want to elaborate and understand what do we mean by that, many school education systems, they conduct classes in such a way that they are delivering examinations and marks. And many +2 formulas are like that before you enter college. It's all about how do you get the marks that will get you into X college or Y college. And hence, the appreciation and the credit is only going to the memory power of the student. And hence, if you're only giving credit to the memory power and not to the actual learning and understanding, it stifles all the creativity in the country. This is a dangerous path to follow. And while these careers are very lucrative, they are much in demand, and most families do prefer such careers, the truth is the education system could be different. For example, education is about learning, it's about understanding, it's about understanding the world around you, creating an interest in your own learning and understanding so you can get to the bottom of a subject, understand all there needs to be about a subject, be able to pick a profession or a career and study in that direction, develop yourself in that direction, professionally grow in that direction, and then provide value back to the world, right? If it's just based on this memory power, then how can you really provide value back to the world? The alternate education system, which is far more creative and supportive to creativity, is where, say, a 6th standard student or a class of 6th standard or 7th standard students, they are studying biology, they are studying geography, and instead of sitting in a classroom trying to memorize the facts and the names of all these different concepts, they would go for a walk in the park. Be monsoon, they'd carry umbrellas, they'd jump in the puddles, being 6th standard, 7th standard students, but they would also collect samples, water samples, leaf samples, all the biodiversity that they see. They would note down, perhaps take pictures, perhaps use the binoculars. And when they come back to class, the discussion is all about what they saw, what they collected, what they understood. They would be able to see these samples under a microscope. They would be able to discuss how the season changed. They discuss what all are the birds and the animals and the species that they witnessed. And their learning would be so driven by experience and interest and curiosity. The teacher would just be a part of it to help them facilitate their understanding into something more coherent, something which would, serve a purpose. the class could probably end with all of them collaborating to make a presentation and put in all the pieces of their understanding or understand each other's perspective. And thereafter, you never have to tell a student what to remember or how to remember what is monsoon. You don't have to give a definition for them to memorize about monsoon as a season. I was very fortunate to go to a system of education like this, but I also realized that most of our students who come to Annapurna College of Film and Media have not come from systems like that. So their creativity could be quite compromised, quite destroyed. On top of this form of education, there is also the mindset. There is the book which was a thesis on by Dr. Carol Dweck. She's a Stanford professor, and she's written this book, Mindset. I strongly recommend all educators to read this book. And I talk about it to all our parents and all the students coming in. And it's about how every human being has two mindsets, right? We have a fixed mindset, which is afraid of making a mistake, which is not, which doesn't want to do anything different because you don't want to make a mistake, which is always more worried about what people say and not about doing something, and which is probably very judgmental of others too. Like, for example, a child draws a butterfly and the mother says, beautiful butterfly in all her innocence. And the teacher says, beautiful butterfly. And the child thereafter only wants to draw butterflies. You see, because the child only wants to get beautiful, very good girl as the result. So what else can we do? So instead of being this judgmental, enforcing a fearful worry about what the world says and whether I get a good name or not, can we shift to be more process oriented? And creativity needs that. Can we shift to focusing on, oh, how beautiful, the colors are wonderful. I really like the way you've used colors, instead of saying how excellent your butterfly is, and focus on encouraging the child to do more, to get involved in the process and to understand and enjoy the process more than the result of the outcome. And this is where, again, the marks and the high marks and the targets to get those high marks again becomes a very fixed mindset thing. So this is the other side of the growth mindset, which is the fixed mindset, always wanting to only do what others appreciate and not what you believe will help you grow as a professional. This quality is called the growth mindset, and creative institutions need to have this growth mindset environment where we focus on process, we focus on the ability to grow as a creative person. Our courses are all designed for film and media platforms. Yes, that you can make content for film and media platforms. A lot of it is technical, a lot of it is technology driven, a lot of it needs a lot of skills. But behind all of this is the art form of telling stories. Yeah. And while telling stories, you may choose different mediums to tell stories. You may choose cinematography as a visual medium to tell the story. You may choose writing, to be the content writer or the story writer. You could choose to be the storyteller, as in the direction department or the editing department, or you could create the sound to the story. Sound has such a powerful role in storytelling. So we have script writing, direction, sound design, editing, cinematography, production. You may choose to produce it. We have media studies, and we have ethics of media. You see, because today with all the wide number of platforms opening up, a media professional must have a foundation of certain ethical use of this media, or they can be chaos. In fact, a creative person without a process and without an ethical foundation can unleash chaos, which is why education is so important. And I'm very happy to say we've come such a long way on putting all the pieces together and trying to create this within the format of the government higher education system. And I really look forward to this in this college. The systems to be shared with others, and for more and more young people to take creative careers as their future profession. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, ma'am. You mentioned about the creative minds, how the creativity is compromised and it needs to be unlocked, kind of thing. So we just to take an how is the career options? I mean, say if no, career markets, we would say those who are coming out of films and media colleges and like Annapurna College of Films and Media, what are the challenges they are facing, or is it like industry is readily taking them? How is it? How is the situation?
So it's a very good question, Sudhir. Um, the studies show. I'll go around a bit just to set the context. Yeah, um, we have to think differently. The pandemic taught us that anybody without an online technology presence um, could lose their business. Thousands of businesses across the country shut down. People were without jobs. Highly lucrative industries that actually do extremely well in other times just could not function. Um, and yet, those with the online technology and the online presence were able to not only move forward, but actually multiply and quadruply their businesses. And we found the same thing in media. We found that the media presence and the media consumption, the digital consumption of media, actually expanded multifold. So if you ask, is there a job waiting for these students? No, jobs don't wait for you. In fact, they're not going to be waiting for any student. For example, 60% of students studying um, in colleges today, the studies show that they will be working for careers in professions that they have not even heard of, which means the ecosystem, the environment around us is changing so rapidly. Assuring a job is not the purpose of higher education. The purpose of higher education, in my understanding, and I'm open to debate about it, and I'm sure everybody has their own perspective, but in the truest sense, it is to enable a human mind to engage in learning and absorbing all they need to do about a subject, organize it in a manner that it can make sense from either ideation to execution to product, or into creating a business. It's about, from start to finish, how to organize all this learning material and then put it to use so that they can make a livelihood or an income or a sustenance for themselves and their family, right? And it's not that this started with higher education. For example, my father-in-law, Akkineni Nageshwar Rao, he went to fourth standard. He had to drop out of school in the fourth standard due to poverty. Yeah. And yet he applied himself to his art and he applied it to make a living, and he not only created a beautiful life for himself, but he's a legend, creating quality entertainment for millions of people who still remember him. But he also created value for his industry, value for education. So the human mind is limitless. But higher education is meant to do this in a short time. What took him 14 years to achieve, it's meant to do it in 2 years or 3 years and get it done with, because not everybody has that time or that luxury, right? Of having an art or a talent like my father-in-law did. So, having said that, the purpose of a good creative course like we provide is really so that you can apply your mind. You will know how to navigate in the creative space. You will know how to the process of creating. You will know the entrepreneurship and marketing skills of how to get your content out there, and how to do surveys in the market to understand the validity. You will be able to self validate. You will be able to one important part of a creative course like ours is that you get creative feedback, which the industry doesn't give. The industry and the media, you either say thumbs up or thumbs up. After 3 years of struggle of the team, they say, it's no good, the movie is no good. But in this process, we give creative feedback to understand which part of the process didn't work. Because unless you provide that, how will the team go and reinvent themselves or go and fix it and do something better next time? Nobody is expert in their first go. People only see the success and talk about it, but they don't see the hard work and the failures and the learning that has to go behind it. And that's what a creative course provides. So, to answer your question now, having set the context, is that a graduate from Annapurna College, if they have truly in spirit and word completed the course as we have meant it to by offering it, they will be able to continue their lifelong learning, their lifelong professional development. They will be able to apply their learning to any industry that gives them an opportunity. Now any industry, if you don't have a YouTube channel, you don't have a website, you don't have social media handles, you don't exist. So they will be able to tell the stories of any employer that needs to get out there and create value for themselves in the bargain. And of course, movies is the Olympics. If you deliver on all fronts, then your work will be recognized and you will get that slot in the Olympics.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for telling us about the creative part, and we are glad to have the legacy of Sri Akkineni, late Akkineni Nageshwar Rao Garu, setting the legacy being taken by his daughter-in-law. We are so proud of you, in fact. And Mr. Akkineni Nageshwar Rao could put his family, dedicate his family to the entertainment industry, creative industry. Sri Nagarjuna, Akkineni Nagarjuna, Akhil, and Chaitanya, all of them are doing a great job. And by this institution, they're providing, they're giving creators in the film industry. We would be joined by you in our award ceremony, which will be starting shortly in few minutes. As all of you know who have joined us, Mistress Akkineni Amala is an environmentalist by heart, and she has a message for all through this medium. I would request my team to play the video.
You okay? You need a minute? Cool. Okay. Listen up, people. I know a thing or two about extinction. And let me tell you, and you'd kind of think this would be obvious, going extinct is a bad thing. And driving yourselves extinct? In 70 million years, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. At least we had an asteroid. What's your excuse? You're headed for a climate disaster, and yet every year governments spend hundreds of billions of public funds on fossil fuel subsidies. Imagine if we had spent hundreds of billions per year subsidizing giant meteors. That's what you're doing right now. Think of all the other things you could do with that money. Around the world, people are living in poverty. Don't you think helping them would make more sense than, I don't know, paying for the demise of your entire species? Let me be real for a second. You've got a huge opportunity right now. As you rebuild your economies and bounce back from this pandemic, this is humanity's big chance. So here's my wild idea. Don't choose extinction. Save your species before it's too late. It's time for you humans to stop making excuses and start making changes. Thank you.
So that was a strong message uh, from Srimati Amala Akkineni. We wouldn't give further introductions of her. You all know her very well. She would be joining us soon. Thank you very much, ma'am. We would be joining you soon in the awards ceremony.
Thank you.